Hello, everybody, and Merry Christmas, Santa, St. Nicholas, Kris Kringle, if you will. Have you heard of him? That's good if you have, because that's what we're talking about today, specifically companions to St. Nicholas. So, like, in people in different places, the folklore around Santa Claus is, like, different in all of them. A lot of them believe in different sort of companions, that people that travel with St. Nicholas, and whatnot. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And the first, I think, is the most famous example. I'm not entirely sure. But the first one we're talking about is Krampus, which is believed in Central Europe, or the folklore in Central Europe is that Krampus accompanies St. Nicholas, mainly in the Alpine region of Austria and Bavaria, but also in some other regions. I think northern Italy and like Slovenia, some parts of Slovenia, maybe Hungary, but mostly Austria and Bavaria believe in Krampus. I don't know if I don't know if they would. I would go as far as say they believe in Krampus, but that's what the folklore is. Is that Krampus, this demon goat man person, will come either on the 5th of December or the 6th of December to punish naughty children. I think it's different depending on where you are. The date that Krampus comes is different. But yeah, he comes, he punishes children. It's I know in the United States it believes that Santa Claus deals with all the children, nice and naughty, right? He gives the naughty children coal and the good children presents. Well, in Austria, St. Nicholas will give you, traditionally, Santa Claus will give you some gifts, including oranges, dried fruit, walnuts, and chocolate. While the badly behaved ones receive punishment from Krampus in the form of being beaten with a birch rod that Krampus carries around. Or if they're really naughty, Krampus will take children in a basket he carries on his back. He will take the children to hell. God damn. Austria knows how to scare children. Also in Austria and Bavaria, there exists Krampuskarten, which are greeting cards which have Krampus on them. Typically sometimes they'll have like a humorous rhyme or like a humorous poem on them as well. But they always have Krampus. And a lot of times they say Groß von Krampus, Groß vom Krampus, which means greetings from Krampus. Here's Krampus taking children to hell. Also in Austria and I think also in Bavaria, Krampuslauf, which means Krampus run. I think in English, there'll be a whole bunch of people that dress up like Krampus, and there'll be like a parade of all these people dressed as Krampus. It's pretty awesome. And this usually happens. I think I read that it varies. The date does, but sometimes it's on like December 5th. To coincide with Krampusnacht, which is the day that Krampus comes and takes children to hell, by the way. Also, there's the 2015 movie Krampus, which is why I said that I thought Krampus was the most popular. There's also a few other Krampus movies. There was like a review I saw on IMDb that I thought was funny. He said, "This is by far the best Krampus movie out there, and it stands head and shoulders above the rest." 6 out of 10 stars. So if that tells you the quality of Krampus movies. Nacht Ruprecht, which is the companion of Santa Claus in Germany, specifically like northern Germany, rather than like Bavaria, which has Krampus. Well, maybe it is in Bavaria. I don't know. I'm like, I was trying to figure out where all of these are, and it's I'm sure there's like some fuzzy lines, or there's not like a hard boundary, where these different companions are believed, right? But anyways, in Germany, Knecht Ruprecht, which is which is kind of similar to Krampus. He's less scary looking. He's just like some guy, which you can see here. But he does punish children by beating them. I think that's what it said. He beats children. Does he take children to hell, though? This is interesting. Knecht in German is knight, and Ruprecht is a common name for the devil in Germany, like traditionally. So according to tradition, Knecht Ruprecht comes. He asks children if they can pray. And if they can pray, they're deemed nice. And if they cannot pray, they're deemed naughty, something like that. And it varies depending on where you are. But, you know, if the children cannot pray, or it's not necessarily if they can't pray. That's like one version in some places. But in some other places, it's just if they're naughty in general, it seems. If they're naughty, Knecht Ruprecht will either give them a lump of coal, sticks, or stones, or he will put a stick in the shoes of naughty children for the parents of the child to beat them with, instead of the things that are traditionally put in the shoes of German children, which are sweets and fruits and nuts. Also notable, the composer Robert Schumann featured Knecht Ruprecht as the subject of one of his miniature piano pieces in his collection for children, Album for the Young, which I recorded yesterday, and which I'll put in the video right now. Who doesn't love amateur piano playing? Also, kind of cool, in The Simpsons, their dog is called Santa's Little Helper in English. But in The Simpsons in Germany, the dog is referred to as Knecht Ruprecht, which I guess makes sense. Knecht Ruprecht ist der Familienhund der Simpsons. Sie haben ihn auf der Hunderenbahn gefunden. All right. It's so fun to speak German. Belsnickel, another companion of Saint Nick, which is found in Germany along the Rhine, the Saarland, the Odenwald area of Baden-Württemberg. Also in some parts of Pennsylvania because of the German immigrants to Pennsylvania, right? Which is a very interesting combination, Pennsylvania, and I guess it makes sense. What is different about Belsnickel as opposed to the other companions we've talked about? Let's see if it says in this article. I should have read this ahead of time. I mean, it does seem pretty similar. He does carry a switch in his hand with which he beats naughty children, but also he has pockets full of cake, candies, and nuts for good children. So he doesn't just beat children. He also gives them cake and candy. And I think most notably, his appearance is different from the other two. A man dressed as a modern Belsnickel in his travel attire on way to scare children in the schools in Norwich, New York. Great. In Russia and other similar countries, Saint Nicholas is referred to as Dead Moroz or something like that. I don't remember how to pronounce it. I did look it up at one point though. And I mean, he is definitely distinct from Saint Nick, from other depictions of Santa Claus, just because of his appearance mainly. You can see him in a long blue robe with a sort of magical cane. So that's how he's different. Also, he has a different companion than all the rest. He has with him Sneguruchka, which is his granddaughter. Which is also Sneguruchka in English means the snow maiden, which is a character in Russian fairy tales. All right, there you go. Yeah, so who is Sneguruchka? Sneguruchka has been depicted as the granddaughter and helper of Ded Moroz during the New Year's parties for children. New Year parties because of the Soviet Union. They try to get rid of Christmas, but then they couldn't, so then they just tried to tie it with the New Year celebration. And as sort of a secular sort of celebration. Yeah, truly the worst part about the Soviet Union is that there's no Christmas. Also, there's like no food, but that's another thing. In France, Pierre Foutard accompanies Saint Nicholas. That's not how you pronounce it, but I don't know how to. I looked it up at one time, I just can't remember. Pierre Foutard accompanies Saint Nicholas on his rounds during Saint Nicholas Day, which is also on December 6th, similar to Krampus. But I mean, it's like, I think Krampus is usually on December 5th, though. So I guess it's a little different. He gives lumps of coal or beatings to naughty children, while St. Nicholas gives gifts to the well-behaved. I love how all of these beat children. He's mainly known in the far north and eastern regions of France. Well, sorry, southern France. You have no characters with whom your parents can threaten you. The the father whipper, that's literally what his name means in English, or old man whipper. Pierre Foutard, here's a few pictures of him, a few depictions. Let's see, he has a beard and just a standard brown cloak. A broke, if you will. Let's move on. He also is carrying a bundle of switches. So I guess, is that what he uses to beat people with? His bundle of switches. I don't know what it is about all of these that beat children specifically with switches. I've never even heard of a switch before today, but it's just a bundle of sticks. And then there is Schmutzli in Switzerland, in the German-speaking parts of Switzerland. Schmutzli is literally the same as Pierre Foutard. And actually, in the French-speaking regions of Switzerland, they know Pierre Foutard. But in the German regions of Switzerland, they know Schmutzli. Okay, let's move on to our next companion to St. Nicholas. And I just need to clarify, before we move on, that I don't approve of this. This is just the way things are. In the Netherlands, the companion of St. Nicholas is Zwarte Piet. Also, in English, Black Pete. I'm hoping you're already seeing the problem. This is a man in blackface. That's the companion of St. Nicholas in Netherlands, is a man in blackface. Well, no, officially it's Zwarte Piet is a black Moor from Spain. But he's depicted, like the way he's depicted is commonly like by like a white person in blackface. So obviously there are some problems with that. I think a more modern depictions of this usually are they're trying to change it to Sooty Pete. I think that's what a lot of people prefer instead of Black Pete. And Sooty Pete is where he has sort of black smudges on his face from going down chimneys instead of just being entirely in blackface, which is a good alternative, in my opinion, to doing blackface. Zwarte Piet. Who is Zwarte Piet? Or Sooty Pete? He appears on the evening of December 5th, St. Nicholas's Eve, because of the Feast of St. Nicholas, which is celebrated on December 6th in the Netherlands, as well as in a lot of other countries. Zwarte Piet arrives on a boat, generally, because he's a Blackmore from Spain. So he's like traveled from Spain. That's sort of the idea. Having traveled from Madrid, Spain. And he will give gifts to children and try to amuse children, right? He will distribute Klootnoten and Peppermoten in the Netherlands, which are like sweet sort of cakes. And in Belgium, he'll distribute tangerines and speculoos, which is a type of biscuit in Belgium. And he will just go around and visit schools and stores and places. And it's a lot of fun, minus the blackface. But there's like a way around it by doing Sooty Pete. God damn. The Netherlands, that's just makes me uncomfortable. Do I have someone else? No. That's it. That's all the companions to St. Nicholas I wanted to talk about. Merry Christmas to all.